All right, so today we're diving into the story of a university that's having a serious moment. We're going to look at the strategy and the data behind Texas Tech University's incredibly fast and really very calculated rise.
So let's just start with the question that kicked this whole thing off. I mean, seriously, how does something like that even happen? Climbing 44 spots in a single year? That's a huge deal.
And nope, that number isn't a typo. 44. That's the leap Texas Tech took in the 2026 Forbes America's Top Colleges rankings. But as you're about to see, this wasn't just some lucky fluke. This is a sign of some real, sustained momentum. And yeah, that momentum is showing up pretty much everywhere you look. This isn't just about one ranking, it's a pattern. And that pattern tells a much, much bigger story. Okay, so take a look at this. What's so wild is just how consistent it is. A 16-spot jump in U.S. News, the biggest in their entire athletic conference. Then that massive 44-spot jump in Forbes. And on top of that, 5 straight years of climbing in the niche rankings. They're all using different formulas, but they're all pointing in the exact same direction, up. And get this jump in prestige is happening while the university is also exploding in size. In the fall of 2025, they flew past 42,000 students for the first time ever. So they're getting better and bigger, which is a really tough thing to pull off. So you have to ask, what's the secret sauce here? Well, the answer seems to be this really unique, really powerful combination of 2 different identities that are working together like twin engines pushing everything forward. So on one hand, you've got its status as a top-tier R1 research university, and on the other, it's a designated Hispanic-Serving Institution. The key thing to understand is that these aren't separate things. They actually feed into each other. Let's quickly break down what each of them means. First up, R1. This is basically the big leagues of research universities in the U.S. It's a classification from the Carnegie Foundation that puts Texas Tech in the same elite club as some of the most famous schools in the country. It's a huge magnet for top professors and, of course, major research dollars. Then you have HSI, or Hispanic-Serving Institution. This is a federal designation you get when at least a quarter of your undergrads are Hispanic. Well, at Texas Tech, that number is actually 29%, which makes it this incredibly important place for educating the future workforce of a really diverse state like Texas. And this right here is the magic. This is where it all comes together. The 2 identities create this powerful feedback loop. Our one status brings in the research prestige, while the HSI status brings in a diverse, growing pool of talent and opens up all these new federal grant opportunities. It's just a perfect synergy that fuels growth from all sides. Okay, so with that engine just humming along, the university's leadership is now making a massive strategic bet. They're taking all that research power and pointing it like a laser at one very specific, very high-stakes field. The goal is crystal clear, and they're not shy about it. Break into the top 50 public research universities. And to do that, they figured out the one metric that matters most: federal research funding. And their plan to get more of it is incredibly focused. This is their big play. They launched the Reese National Security Complex in 2025. And this isn't just some new building. It's a fundamental shift in strategy. They are aiming to become an absolutely essential partner for the Departments of Defense and Energy, focusing on protecting our country's most critical systems. We're talking the power grid, our communication networks, all of it. And what's amazing is that they already have the deep expertise to make this happen. I mean, these are world-class centers working on things like pulsed power and next-gen materials for hypersonic flight. This isn't them starting from scratch. It's them doubling down on what they're already incredible at. Of course, a plan this huge needs an equally huge financial engine to make it go. And well, Texas Tech has definitely built one. Yup, that's $1.2 billion with a B. That's the goal for their On&On campaign, which is the first fundraising campaign in their entire 100-year history that's just for the main university. And that giant number isn't just some abstract goal. It is directly connected to the strategy we've been talking about. The money is specifically set aside for scholarships, for fueling that top 50 research goal, for building new facilities, and, of course, for supporting top-tier athletics. Every single dollar has a mission. But you know, a university isn't just rankings and research grants. What really makes an institution special is its people, its culture. So let's take a look at the heart and soul of Texas Tech. The school was founded all the way back in 1923, so they just celebrated their centennial.
It's amazing to think it went from just over 900 students to the huge R1 powerhouse it is today. And, a century of history creates some pretty amazing traditions.
And maybe the most famous is the masked rider. Since 1936, you've got this rider, decked out all in black, on a powerful black horse, just charging onto the field, leading the football team. It is honestly one of the most exciting entrances in all of college sports. Then you have the guns up hand sign. It's the symbol everyone knows. And the origin story is just classic college rivalry. It was literally created back in '71 as a direct retaliation to the famous hook 'em horn sign from their rivals at the University of Texas. You gotta love that.
And it's not all sports and rivalries. The Carol of Lights is this beautiful winter tradition. The university lights up 13 buildings with over 25,000 lights, and it brings the entire community together. It's just a really special event.
So when you put all of these pieces together, the picture becomes so clear. This isn't happening by accident. From the rankings, to that R1/HSI engine, to the huge pivot into national security, all of it backed by a billion-dollar plan. This is a deliberate, strategic, and so far incredibly successful climb. And that really leaves us with one final big question. With all the pieces aligned so perfectly, the strategy, the identity, and $1 billion in the tank, the real question isn't how they did it. It's what does the next chapter of this incredible story even look like?